Hi, I'm Kirby Franze, and I will be discussing the vice presidential debate between Democratic vice presidential nominee Senator Kamala Harris and current Vice President Mike Pence. Many people tuned into this debate wondering if it would be the cutthroat, high temper interruption fest that the previous presidential debate was. I was pleased to see that the candidates were much more respectful of one another during these vice presidential debates, and no one individual came off as overbearing or overtly disrespectful to the other. Susan Page of USA Today was the moderator, and I feel that she did a decent job of keeping time constraints and order throughout the debate, albeit she did lose control a few times. When it came to issues that emerged throughout the debate, it was many of the same exact topics and questions asked during the presidential debates, I felt. And Susan Page started out by asking about the COVID situation, stating that it is not under control, to which the candidates discussed their plans for COVID for the future and what Americans can expect moving forward. While Senator Harris answered this question, she used terms like dead bodies in describing the death toll Americans have experienced due to COVID, which I think was a type of mental framing as discussed in Chapter 8, and it really stood out to me. By Harris using this graphic verbiage, she is able to really emotionally affect many potential voters, more than if she just stated statistics and just spoke in generalities. Page, who came up with the questions for the candidates, asked other questions such as about Breonna Taylor, tax increases, and the economy. Possibly due to the similarity in her questions to the ones during the presidential debate, the vice president's and Senator Harris's answers seemed to take the same turns to the same topics. Harris, for example, found a way to bring up Trump's tax payments or the lack thereof, and constantly slammed the Trump administration for what she called their failure to properly handle COVID 19, while avoiding questions like whether her administration would pack the Supreme Court. Instead, she resorted back to what she claimed Abraham Lincoln did in a similar situation, and that Trump should allow the American people to decide this decision whether or not this is what is commonly done or would be done if Democrats were in Trump's position. An article by Deadline.com talks about the debates and how similarly Pence avoided questions such as why the White House flouted mask wearing guidelines and instead talked about the president's health and quick recovery from COVID 19 and the success of soon to come vaccines. I think that overall both candidates handled themselves well, despite Senator Harris repeatedly, harshly, and aggressively telling the vice president that she was talking and to let her finish in an obviously agitated manner. She came off as likable and someone that was very proud of her state and her party and of Joe Biden, and someone that was passionate about her campaign. In contrast, Pence, who many presumed would come off as meek and mild against Harris, came off as well spoken, affirmative, and likable. However, he did ramble on a bit and continue talking past the moderator when he could have just ended his sentences on a sensible note. Instead, I felt like he had to end it on a proper article like manner, which was annoying for me and I'm sure annoying for many other viewers. As far as the moderator is concerned, I feel that her questions set the agenda for the country's focus, being racial bias in America, coronavirus, and the Trump administration's failures in handling it, and the economy and American workforce situations. I feel like there were better questions that could have been asked when it comes to how they plan to lower or raise taxes, infrastructure, and how the administration's plan to restart the economy. I also feel that Susan Page could have easily required the candidates to answer the questions that they dodged or ask them to embellish on things that they did say, like legalizing marijuana, releasing those imprisoned by marijuana related offenses, how this could be done, and how college will be paid for all, and how student debt will be forgiven. Chapter 10 discusses doing the opposite of pandering, which Senator Harris did when she stated numerous times that her campaign intends to increase taxes, but only for those who make over $400,000 a year. Which, as a previous chapter states, anytime you suggest increasing taxes, it can be a political campaign death sentence. I'm curious how this will play out for her and former Vice President Biden in their campaign, and I'm also curious as to how people who make over $400,000 a year feel about having higher taxes. I noticed there were several times that each candidate said the other was lying or something wasn't true, while the other was insisting that it was true, which can be confusing for uninformed voters, as discussed in Chapter 10. They both also claimed to be religious, which I found shocking for both candidates to profess their faith during debates. I left the debates with many unanswered questions. Overall, I think Senator Harris enhanced her image, or at least maintained her very good image that she has. And Vice President Pence, I think he also maintained his image, and it was definitely a better debate than the presidential debate. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to watching everyone's videos. Thank you.